Hello, in today's video I wanted to speak. As you already know, I don't know everything, right? I'm just a limited human just like you. But I do know the way to purifying yourself from fear, the way to balancing yourself and actually becoming a pure channel of God, right? A pure channel of source. I know that, and because of that, because the embodiment, openness to that, I think I'm competent enough to be making this kind of videos and advising people. So in this video I wanted to speak because you hear many times in this live people speaking, if God truly exists, Urosh, why is then so much suffering on the planet, right? Why does God then let children suffer? Why? Why do these children have these horrendous autoimmune diseases that they die from or suffer for a few years and then die? Why is God letting all of this happen? If God truly exists, He wouldn't let that happen, right? And it's very sensible. It is very normal for people to think like that. And to some degree, I agree, right? I understand it. But because then these things still are happening, and because no matter what you do in this life, you will go from this life when God says so, when it is time, right? There is like a video on the internet of a Ukrainian woman running away from the war that was happening between Russia and Ukraine, for instance. She was running away from this war zone into America, for instance. I think it was something like that. She wanted to escape death, right? And so she went into America, and then she was killed on the subway by some stranger for nothing, truly for nothing. He didn't even knew her, right? And so I'm just saying that no matter what do you want to do, how much do you think you're in control of this life, you cannot escape life. You cannot escape it. You cannot escape death. When it's your time to go, you will go. When it's your time for something to happen, it will happen. You cannot force these things. So I just wanted to drive home this proof that even though some horrendous things are happening in this planet, this still doesn't mean that God isn't real and it doesn't exist. And to be honest, I don't have the answer why God is letting all of these horrendous things happening. From my experience, I can see that actually all of my suffering, it was just the love of God, truly. All of the suffering in my life was me being unconscious to the lesson in the moment that I wasn't learning, right? All of the lessons that I needed to learn, and because I was unconscious and I wasn't learning them, then suffering comes, right? If you are conscious and in the moment learn the lesson from the moment, from something that happened, you are learning, you are evolving without suffering. But if you are unconscious, if you don't learn from the things in your life, then suffering comes in order to stop you and to make you turn toward the suffering and ask yourself why it is there. And if you are a researcher of life, you will see that suffering is there because you didn't resolve something from your past, you didn't learn something, you didn't leave behind something, and God is then bringing you suffering in order for you to become aware, to awaken from the unconsciousness, resolve the thing in your life, and can finally evolve, right? So suffering in my life has proven for so many times, all of the times, that it is just a wake-up call to you finally evolving, right? And suffering is there to bring you from unconsciousness to consciousness, to it, to the problem, right? That's it. This is the reason why suffering is there. If you can learn directly being conscious, suffering will not be there, right? So why is there so much suffering and all of the horror on this planet? In and why the children have to suffer, right? Or what is there for them to learn? They haven't even been born, or they are just born and they are already suffering. What kind of lesson do they need to learn, right? What's the point? What's the point of all of these children on the planet suffering? And to be honest, I think, in my humble opinion, I think truly, because I don't know for sure, in my opinion, God is making these children suffer, using them as a leverage to unite us. I think all of the children of the planet, all of this suffering that's happening on the planet, for instance, because what does a 1 year old or 3 months year old child need to be conscious of, right? What kind of lesson does it need to be conscious of, right? It doesn't make sense, Suraj, what the fuck you're talking. It doesn't link with your previous story talking about needing to learn the lesson, right? You're right, but I think that God then uses all of this suffering child, because if we don't want to unite in the name of God, right, as the children, as the brothers and sisters, as the family, as the children of God, if we can't unite in that, in a good way, in an easy way, then it brings suffering to us, right? Just look how many people unite when there is a need to unite to resolve some problems of the society. Many people unite, right? Not all of the people, not all of the people, but I think that's the point. That's the point. The point is to make children suffer, even though it's horrendous. But these are probably the strongest warriors of the souls that come and face this horror of life, in order for us to finally realize that we can resolve all of this just if we unite, right? If we won't unite in a good way, if we don't unite in a good way, we will be forced to unite in a bad way. And all of this shit that's happening on the world is just God forcing us through our own suffering, or us suffering because we are looking somebody else suffering. God forcing us, God triggering the life in us to finally unite in the name of life, right? In the name of God, in the name of love. To unite because we are all suffering together, right? If you stupid people want to unite in the name of love, right? You will then unite in the suffering, because then I will bring suffering to all of you, right? If you don't want to unite in an easy way by bringing love to this planet, then I will bring all of the suffering to all of you, so you can then be united at least in suffering. If you didn't get united in all of the other things that I brought you, right, then you will get united because people suffer, right? And we all know that when people suffer together, they unite very strongly. All of the people that went through the war, for instance, the people that went through the war, we all know that after the war, they became closer than their own blood family, right? So I think all of this suffering that's on the planet, it's just a wake-up call, last wake-up calls for us to unite, because we can't unite in the identities, in the morality of life, because every culture, every civilization has its own morality. We can't unite in religion, and so we will unite in the heart, because the heart, no matter where it comes from, it cannot bear such suffering. And so then it brings suffering to all, so our hearts can truly be awakened, opened. This is my 2 cents about it. I just wanted to say that actually this video is very serious, right? If we will not unite through this level of suffering, in my opinion, suffering is going to get worse and worse and worse. And I don't know what's the end point of us not uniting, probably the reset of the humanity. So people always postpone, right, with their own involvement, with their own facing of the suffering, until the suffering isn't, until the suffering it's impossible to ignore, right? Once it is beside you, once it is happening to you, once it is unbearable, you then start evolving. You then start facing the problems of your life, facing the fear in your life, searching for any way, shape, or form to resolve truly that. Because now stress relief techniques don't work anymore, and only the true pathway, the truth, will work. And this truth is this: everything that I speak about, that only acceptance of God in life can sustainably, truly resolve all of the problems of life. Why acceptance of God is the most important thing we can do in this life. That only through this, only through God, only through the acceptance of that which we are a part of, the life force that we are, we can truly unite in true integrity, becoming integrated, embodied human being, and recognizing our true value, us, as the only and most important identity there is, being the child of God. That's it. All of this suffering is just a wake-up call. But will we wake up soon enough? That's the question. For how long will we postpone this? For how long will we continue pretending that the problem of the neighbor is not my problem? For how long will we pretend? How long it will take us for us to realize that we are together on this planet and we have to cooperate, that there is no other way? How long will we postpone the killing and the suffering of the planet? And the longer that we will postpone, the more horrendous the suffering will be. That's it.